having limits in your creativity produces more creativity. Like, I would love for there to be a way, and Avid, if you're watching, you can take my idea, please. I would love for there to be a way when you open a session up that half the plugins disappear. It's like plugin roulette. Like, half your plugins will just go away. And the more you use them, the more frequently they will go away. So you have to try something else. I don't know how that could happen, but it would be neat to be forced to try something different. You know, it's sort of one of my catchphrases is perhaps you should try something different. You know, I came up working for my father. He had a mobile studio for many, many years, since like 1969 or 1970, something like that. You know, so I came up on the road recording live music, running around, and, you know, working in an arena where there's no second chances. And so, you know, I've been able to bring that into the studio, you know, where I'm prepared for everything. I think there's like a work ethic that comes with that concept that is, you know, get it at all costs. So we're always ready, I'm always rolling. Pro Tools is always rolling, recording, whatever. As soon as an artist walks in the room, I'm recording. Coming up around that, yeah, certainly informs how I work. Part of my belief in making music and creation is that there's no one way to do it. I mixed the Chili Peppers a couple years ago on a console, and I mixed a record for someone last week on a console, and that was really fun. Going into both of those mixes, I was like, okay, well, how can I bring what I do in the box onto the console? You know, because everyone's obsessed with the other way around. On the console, you have limited channels. In the box, you have unlimited channels. You can do whatever you want, send anything to anywhere, you know, just until you just run out of brain cells or something. I don't even know. But on a console, it's like I have 64 channels. You know, I got 2 faders per channel. I got this many aux sends, this many buses. Like, how can I build this to move quickly and be versatile and not have to keep moving patches that may or may not work on any given day, you know what I mean, with a 40-year-old patch bay in this case. It's not really, is it better? It's like, what's more compatible with your life, you know, and your process of creation, and your level of comfortability with commitment. When I got the call to do this Oasis Atmos project, it was thrilling. We got the files from their archive. You know, they have everything they've ever recorded. And the tapes were all retransferred. And then our job was, you know, first of all, is this the right take? You know, because when you're on tape, you don't, you know, there's a million takes of these songs. And so most of the time it's noted this, you know, master take or edited or what have you. But in some cases it wasn't labeled clearly, or there were multiple things labeled, this one, no, this is the master. And so, you know, we get to do an archaeological dig on the tapes of one of the most famous bands in the world. And it was like the mission of a lifetime. It's the opposite of creating a record. We know where this is going to end. It has sounded this way for 30 years. Everyone knows what this record sounds like. They love it. We've had our emotional experiences, our life experiences with it. We know where we were when we heard it for the first time. There's all these things attached to this music that is sacred. So we're taking this end product and we're going, and we have the tracks, you know, so over here we have the tracks, over here we have the final mix. Like, okay, what happened in between? You know, how did they mix it? What did they mix it on? What was the gear? What was the thinking? What was the mastering chain? What was the process? Blah, 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 blah. So you have an infinite number of variables between the source and the destination. You know, me and my team, Jordan and Tyler, we did a lot of work researching how it all happened. Like, what console were they mixing it on? You know, what was the outboard gear? Do we have mix notes? And in some cases we had all the notes. You know, there's one record where we had like all the mix notes, including the console tick sheets and stuff like that. And that was amazing. That was the last record that we did. So it was, you know, certain aspects of that were easier to deal with. And then some records, we didn't even have track sheets. So we don't know what the name that they gave that track was. It's just Audio 17. And then some records we had like outboard patches, you know, outboard notes, which is a huge help. You know, we know exactly what the reverb they used on Live Forever was. You know, so okay, we have that. You know, I have that setting. I know what that is. Okay, they used this delay, and this is the delay time. They used this chorus and this, you know, so on and so on. This compressor on the lead vocal. Any little tidbits of information. I was digging up photos of sessions. You know, there was nothing. No one takes pictures at a mix, but no, I mean, a lot of it was, you know, investigative reporting, if you will, reverse engineering, archaeological digging. It was so fun. I still don't believe I don't have to go and do more of that tonight, you know what I mean? Like, we worked on that for 18 months, you know, many, many days, many, many man hours of work on that. And gosh, it was just like, it was just so fun. When you send a mix off to someone, do it with love and intention of making something great with somebody. I mean, one of my favorite mix comments was when I was mixing Stadium Arcadium for the Chili Peppers. You know, I sent this mix to Rick Rubin, and he says, "Anthony sounds old, make him sound younger." And I'm like, oh, I wish there was a knob for that. And I just figure out, like, okay, well, what does that mean? You know, okay, like, listen to the other songs. Okay, well, he sounds younger here. Oh, well, there's just too much low mid in the voice. And it just needed more presence and less, you know, less chest and more, you know, whatever, more vocal cord sound, if you know, whatever. So I did it, sent it back to him. He's like, "You took off 5 years, see if you can take off another 5. And I was like, wow, okay. But I interpreted it right. And it's like, okay, well, now what do I do to increase that feeling of youth in a mix? You know, no one's ever said, like, you know, turn down the age knob, you know what I mean? And so you get this challenge to try to come up with a solution to something. And it's like, it's one thing to get it from Rick Rubin, you know, who's a guru in the business, and it's another thing to get it from someone that may not know how to communicate or, you know, is in a different position in the business or something like that. But it doesn't make it less important. You know, if someone's hired you to mix something for them and they say, make me sound younger, the quote unquote correct way to receive that is like, challenge accepted. Okay, I'll make you sound younger. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I've got a bunch of stuff over here that has knobs and things on it, and I'll figure it out. It's just as exciting as like trying to figure out how to get a great guitar sound, you know, or any other given task in what we do. I came to PMC through a buddy of mine, my friend Ted. He had the prototypes of the 6.2 Actives just as I was starting to mix the Chili Peppers' Unlimited Love record. It's just music. You don't hear a speaker, you know what I mean? Like, it's got so much power and low end that it doesn't fart out, and it's bright enough to be just like you're just listening to music. That's all I can say. It's like all of a sudden the speaker went away. You know, you're not thinking about or compensating for crossover distortion or phase problems with, you know, with cap and coil crossovers and things like that. You're just like, oh yeah, that just sounds like what it's supposed to sound like. It's one of those things where, like, when you hear something that's correct, it amplifies the issues with everything else. You know, it shows you where there are problems in other systems. And with the PMCs, you just show up, you put them on the speaker bridge, you plug them in, and they sound really great. You know, there hasn't been a room that I've taken them to that doesn't sound great.